Hi, everyone. Welcome to the weekly review of my M1 Finance dividend portfolio. Before I get into the numbers, I first just want to thank everyone for all of the comments. And even for those who didn't post a comment, if you had me in your thoughts, thank you, because I was just so burnt out last week on finance. I'm still burnt out for sure, meaning that I'm still looking for content creators, like finance content creators in particular, to unfollow, to unsubscribe from finance newsletters and finance podcasts and all of that, just because I do want to continue heading in the trend of having just less and less finance content in my life overall. Some of you, I think, picked up on this in some of the comments, but I think a big part of it is that I've now been on this finance journey for 5 years. So given that I've learned a lot of like the basics and the ETFs I want to invest in, I think because I'm just kind of in the stage where there's not much to do but just keep on putting money in and waiting, it's making me realize, okay, I don't need to be as obsessive about finance as I did before. Now, I'm not saying that people should be obsessive about it, but whereas before I would literally check all of my accounts multiple times a day, every single day. Now, I am still checking the accounts every day. So I want to be transparent. I am still checking all of them every day, multiple times a day still, but it's less times. So if before I was checking them 7 to 8 times a day, now I'm probably down to like 3 to 4 times a day. So still on the obsessive level to me, but headed in the right direction. So I'm working on how can I get to a point where by the end of this year, maybe I am still checking all my accounts every single day, but now I'm just checking them once a day. And then maybe for 2027, it's okay, instead of checking all of the accounts, how about I check the top 3 once a day, right? And just kind of slowly wean myself off of the finance obsession. It's like I'm weaning myself off of like alcohol or drugs or something else. Yeah, I mean, once you've been so locked into something, you have to like wean yourself off of it. Or some people can go completely cold turkey. So I don't think I can do that, but I definitely am interested in moving towards just having finance less and less a part of my, I don't want to say a part of my life, because I think that's too extreme, and I don't want to give the impression that this now means I'm spending and all of that, and that I don't have my spreadsheets where I'm tracking stuff. So in the spirit of transparency, I still have all of that in place, right? I have my investment tracker, saving tracker. I'm still investing aggressively, as you see. So I'm still doing all of that. What I want to happen is for me to just not care as much about the day-to-day movements of my accounts, like what the stock market did today versus yesterday versus tomorrow. I don't want to be so tied to that, and maybe just get to a point in my life where it's like, again, maybe it's like once a week I check the stock market and like that's it. And then moving towards once every 2 weeks and then once a month. So this is going to be more of like a long-term, I think, journey to wean off of the finance content, but I'm happy I'm starting it so I can just focus on other things and develop more interests, should I say. All right, so that's where I am. So I'm feeling still burnt out, but feeling more energized than I was last week to keep going with the content. All right, so let's get into the numbers. The balance on the account this week is $336,310.67. Let's look at the performance for the past week. So overall, the portfolio was down $272.11 or 0.08%. I have two holdings. The first is Voo that tracks the S&P 500. That was down 0.35% or $914.88. And then SCHD, which is the Schwab US Dividend ETF, that was up 0.83% or $642.77. So this past week was a doozy. Oh man, like on Tuesday, my account dropped so much, but all my accounts dropped a ton. I think in this account alone, I was down maybe like $4,800 and something dollars. So almost $5,000 in a single day this account dropped. And then Wednesday and Thursday, essentially most of the money came back into the account. So it's true what they say, time in the market beats time in the market. Because if I had panicked and sold or pull out of my investments in any type of way when that huge drop happened on Tuesday, then I wouldn't have been a part of the rebound that happened the next 2 days after that. So hang in there. Even though the roller coaster can be very volatile at times, hang in there. Don't sell, keep on investing. And long term, the market has proven to be worth a while. I know my emotions really sway with the market, and I've always been transparent with you all whenever I give updates how I felt. I mean, that Tuesday was scary. I mean, I know some of you all were like, yeah, buying opportunity. I was not. I was like, oh, goodness. Is this the start of the market crash? Because there's been so much talks about, oh, the markets are at all-time high. There's like a crash coming. But of course, nobody can like predict the market, right? But I was just like, oh my goodness, is this like the start of the crash? Like, is this portfolio about to like drop 100K in the next 3 months, right? Like, I was scared. I was nervous, but very pleasantly surprised to see the rebound was literally the next 2 days after it dropped. And I think a lot of the drop on Tuesday came from Trump, of course, saying foolery at the Davos, I think that's how you say it, gathering around stealing Greenland and new tariffs. So I think that's what the market was reacting to. And yeah, they bounced back. I think he came back saying that he wasn't going, not that he wasn't going to take Greenland, something like he's going to work something out and not take Greenland or figure out a deal of some sort. So I think then everyone was like, okay, all right, cool, great. So we're not going to go into a war. Perfect. Awesome. So we'll see what happens next week with the stock market. This is the thing, right? It goes up, it goes down. You just don't know. Politics, of course, impacts the market, which is the most annoying thing, as well as a whole bunch of other things. So we'll see. I'm going to keep on investing, keep on pushing forward as usual. All right, let's look at the activity for the past week. So there was just one deposit on the 19th. I put in $400. It cleared, and then it traded on the 20th. And that was, I got 0.63 shares for my $400 deposit, and it all went into VOO. And so if we just look at the recap for the week, the portfolio started at a balance of $336,182.78. There's a $400 that I put in, and then the market loss of $272.11 is what brings the balance up to $336,310.67. So essentially the only reason why the balance went up this past week is because of the cash deposit that I put in. And if you look at the funding, year-to-date funding, meaning this is the money, this is the cash that I put into the portfolio so far, I am at $4,400. And overall performance, the portfolio is up 21.93% or $60,497.42. My two holdings, VOO is up 23.42% or $49,015.68. And then SCHD is up 17.25% or $11,481.74. SCHD has definitely come a long way to be at 17.25% return. I remember when this was in the single digits not too long ago, like 2 months ago, 3 months ago. It was not doing well. So it's really made a huge comeback. Let's see if it continues. All right, that is all of the updates for this week. And yes, I feel good about saying, and I'll see you next week. Bye.